जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदनंदन व्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवन चारि यमुना तीरवन चारि हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदनंदन व्रजजन रंजन हेमोतिरवन चारि हेमोतिरवन चारि जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू गुरु एंड गौरांग जय प्रभु ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यां नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी हरे कृष्णा devotees, welcome to ISKCON Seshadripuram daily Bhagavatam class through online. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam verse number 34, chapter number 29 and third canto. We'll share the screen. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. As I mentioned, Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29.34. Manasaitani bhutani pranamed bahumanayam Ishvaro jiva kalaya pravisto bhagavan hiti Manasaitani bhutani pranamed bahumana manayan Ishvaro jiva kalaya pravisto bhagavaniti manasaitani bhutani pranamed bahumanayan Ishvaro jiva kalaya pravisto bhagavaniti. Word to word translation. Manasa, with the mind. Etani, to these. Bhutani, living entities. Pranamet, he offers respects. Bahu Manayan, showing regard. Ishvaraha, the controller. Jiva, of the living entities. Kalaya, by his expansion as the super soul. Pravishtaha, has entered. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Iti, thus. Translation and purport by Jagat Guru A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Such a perfect devotee offers respects to every living entity because he is under the firm conviction that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has entered the body of every living entity as the super soul or controller. Purport. A perfect devotee, as described above, does not make the mistake of thinking that because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Paramatma, has entered into the body of every living entity has become the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is foolishness. Suppose a person enters into a room, that does not mean that the room has become that person. Similarly, that the Supreme Lord has entered into each of the 84 lakh particular type of material bodies does not mean that each of these bodies has become the Supreme Lord. Because the Supreme Lord is present, however, a pure devotee accepts each body as the temple of the Lord. And since the devotee offers respect to such temples in full knowledge, he gives respect to every living entity in relationship with the Lord. Mayavadi philosophers wrongly think that because the Supreme Person has entered the body of a poor man, the Supreme Lord has become Daridra Narayana or Poor Narayana. These are all blasphemous statements of atheistic and non-devotees. So here the purport ends. ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददान्ति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपादकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं हरिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschasya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Padaya Krishna Padaya Srimate Jagata Sumedina Amacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Padaya Gaurakata Damadaya Nagara Gramataya Hare Krishna devotees, a brief introduction to the canto, chapter, and verse, then we will get into the verse. So right now we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto. The third canto name is Status Quo. What is this status quo? A brief understanding or with example understanding. Government is passing some amendment. So the amendment is getting, spread or implemented all over the constituency. Like that, a particular government will go and check. So in the same way, the Srimad Bhagavatam also, when there is a primary and secondary creations, that is from Canto 1 and Canto 2. And in Canto 3, just we are recalling whether those things are in place or not, like that. It is understanding. And before getting into the chapter, this particular canto being understood in 4 different divisions. First 3 divisions are out of our scope. Presently, we are focusing on the 4th division. The 4th division deals about appearance and teachings of Lord Kapila. So we all know Kapila, Lord Kapila, and Mother Devahuti, and their discussions, etc. And the previous chapter is Kapila's instruction on the execution of devotional service, and this chapter deals about explanation of devotional service by Lord Kapila. So Lord Kapila started explaining. So the root from previous chapters like 25th to 33rd chapter, the teachings of Lord Kapila to Devahuti after Kardama left. So presently we are in chapter number 29, but up to 33, this is the subject matter. Teachings of Lord Kapila to Devahuti. After Kardama left, Kapila stayed with mother. She inquired from him. So mother inquired from a son. Son acted as a spiritual master here. He is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then after chapter 28, in 29, Devahuti again decides to hear about Bhakti. So she is more, inclined towards a devotional life. So she has got so much of inquiry since she should perform that process. So with that brief introduction, then we will get into the this particular chapter. This particular chapter elaborates about various classes of bhakti, characteristics of pure bhakti, angas of bhakti, dangers of offenses. So our subject matter we will get into, or before getting into our subject matter, these are the things which we have come across. We have come across Devavuti's questions about type of bhakti, birth, death, nature and time. And then Kapila describes various classes of bhakti, characteristics of pure bhakti beyond the 3 modes, angas of bhakti for the purification of the mind. And then bhakti only gives rise to bhakti. The proof is here. And then, however, in such a bhakti, the next division, offenses creates restriction. What is the solution to this? Offenses creates restriction like that. So don't disrespect the jivas. So here the thread starts, right? Don't disrespect the jivas. Today's subject matter is about gradation in jivas. We have been discussing from sloka number 29 to today's sloka. This is like concluding sloka like 34. This sloka we cannot take it just only the 34th sloka. It's a continuation from sloka number 29 to 34, about 5 or 6 slokas, which is interconnected to understand this particular sloka. The thread about this today's topic is gradation in jivas. So in jivas, what are the different gradation, and then how the one who is in the topmost level of in the form of jiva, etc. So that is the subject matter or the core matter about today's discussion. Let us get into this particular thread, and then we will get into this particular sloka. So in sloka 29 onwards, it is elaborating about gradation in jivas. It is like inanimate objects, living immovable entities, living entities with greater life symptoms. So be the living entities with greater life symptoms, entities with higher consciousness of movement. So there are entities with higher consciousness, and then beings with taste sensation, beings with sense of smell. So different jivas. So here it is being about in the purport of today's verse. Prabhupada, quoted that there are 84 lakhs species of life. So Lord, entered into each one of the jivas like this. So this elaborates on that particular connectivity. So I've taken, these slokas for a better understanding. Then beings who can hear, beings who can distinguish form, entities with two sets of teeth, beings with many legs, animals with four legs, humans with two legs. So this is the evolution of that jivas, or uh, uh, what to say, or jivas, that beings, a civilization or evolution of the beings, like that we can understand. And then from 31 to 32, amongst the humans, non-varnashrama human. So now in the previous sloka, we have come up to humans with two legs. Now the other gradation of jivas, among humans, non-varnashrama humans. That means the one who will not follow this varnashrama dharma. And then those in varnashrama, we the devotees. And then the elevated person who is in varnashrama, here identified as a brahmanas. Brahmana who knows the Vedas, right? And then Brahmana who knows the meaning of the Vedas. So here I would like to emphasize, not by birth. Brahmanas who knows the meaning of Vedas. Brahmana who can dispel the doubts. And then Brahmana who also completes his duties completely. And then Jnani who does not enjoy the results of his previous actions. So these are very amazing qualities, or as a jiva, are we, these are the symptoms or the benchmarks for the jivas to test ourselves uh, whether we are falling into any of this category or not. And then further understanding, that is previous sloka of this sloka. Best is the person who dedicates his activities such as hearing and chanting, his wealth, his identity, his mind, intelligence, etc. to me, and who identifies with others' sufferings and happiness. Paradukka dukhi. So that is the theme of today's discussion. So that means the quality of a wonderful jiva or elevated jiva, here it is mentioned in the previous sloka, best is the person who dedicates his activities such as hearing, right? Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, chanting, that means preaching and chanting, and his wealth. So as a grastas, we can get into a purificatory process of our wealth through donations or through some contributions like that. And his identity. So what is the identity? So how, the way we dress, etc. The mind, the intelligence, right? So these all are the, indriyas. How we engage all our indriyas. And then Lord says, to me, the one who spends on me and who identifies with other suffering and happiness. This is the highest or topmost qualities. So paradukha dukhi. So those who thinks, others dukkha as our dukkha. When Srila Prabhupada visited or traveled to US, he just saw day and night, looks same. And then how the people so conditioned. If we go and we see the skyscrapers, we see the people lifestyle, we see people, the way they behave, and they are So the material opulences only will be filled in our mind. But here Prabhupada moved, so that is a symptom of elevated jiva. So he found that so how this Maya is so comfortably these jivas being occupied here. So how to make them to come out of this suffering. So that is the mood of Prabhupada. That is paradukha dukhi. One who follows their footsteps, they are also paradukha dukhi. Now, today's theme is such a person should offer great respects with the mind to all the jivas, thinking that the Supreme Lord has entered into that entity. So here, Prabhupada, clarifies that don't accept that as a Mayavada philosophy, and to more elaborate on to understand, who is such a jiva. So in our parampara, it is being mentioned from the topmost jiva, Ishwaranam Yata Sambho. So here, Srila Sukadeva from Srimad Bhagavatam, I will take some reference. So the today's understanding is going to be like this. First, I will quote something from some of the reference of Lord Shiva in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then after understanding the mood of Paradukha Dukhi from Lord Shiva, then we will get into Prabhupada's one of the lecture. He mentioned two qualities, friendly and sympathetic. So what is meant by friendly and what is meant by sympathetic? And then there are 26 qualities of a devotee. So these are the three divisions which we are going to discuss for another 20 to 30 minutes about that. And these are the three divisions. Keep it in your mind about the Lord Shiva, and then Prabhupada lecture about friendly and sympathetic, and then 26 qualities of a pure devotee, and then I will connect to today's purpose. And now we will understand from Srimad Bhagavatam how Lord Shiva exhibited the quality of Paradukha Dukhi. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 8.7.36. Srila translation. Srila Sukadeva Goswami continued. Lord Shiva is always benevolent toward all living entities. When he saw that the living entities were very much disturbed by the poison which was spreading everywhere, he was very compassionate. See the mood of Lord Shiva here. Thus he spoke to his eternal consort Sati as follows. He was sharing his mood with his beloved wife, Sati, Parvati Devi. He is so compassionate towards how the people are suffering when these pastimes happen. This poison has come out from the churning of this ocean of milk. So what to do like that? So then Lord Shiva with compassion he shares, my dear Bhavani, in the next verse, that is 8.7.37. So it's a sequence 36, 37, 38 like that goes on. My dear Bhavani, just see how all these living entities have been placed in danger because of the poison produced from the churning of the ocean of milk. So here he exhibits his mood. I am so compassionate because of the poison produced from the churning of the ocean of milk, and how all these living entities have been placed in danger. So this is a perfect follow-up of parampara. So are we having this quality? Then we are elevated jiva. Otherwise, we are even outcast. That is below Shudra. So, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnam Maya system. So all these things, and also with what guna we have. Are we qualified with this guna? Right? So are we qualified with this, this varnashrama? Right? Even outcast. So one is outcast in Kali Yuga, never come to even the conscious of self. There is a question of coming to this stage. Discuss elaborately on this subject matter. So here, one of the Paradukha Dukhi, which I am referring is Lord Shiva. And continues further. It is my duty to give protection and safety to all living entities struggling for existence. Wonderful mood by Lord Shiva here. So this entire population is suffering with this poison, and certainly it is the duty of the master to protect his suffering dependents. So it's a duty of a master. So how Prabhupada protecting even today all the jivas. Otherwise, where is the question of sitting in comfortably in wherever we are, and then we are discussing on something so precious. One of the lecture or one of the interview of Srila Prabhupada, one reporter was asking Prabhupada, uh, you know, uh, right now, how many disciples in your movement? That means they are putting Prabhupada into a smaller circle, saying that very limited number of devotees, that this and all. They were putting so many questions. Prabhupada said, yes, see, the diamond is so precious. It is not that easy to offer, affordable for everyone. So these Krishna consciousness devotees are like diamonds. So Prabhupada says, even in many other examples also, Prabhupada says, we don't want stars. Prabhupada says, if we have a one moon, one star, that is enough to give the light to this entire universe. So if such a one person, and also uh, Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Samahatma Sudurlubha. Yes, of course, it's very difficult to elevate to that such a elevated jiva like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, like that. But it is so difficult. But even though it is possible with the mercy of Guru, it is with the mercy of Lord, one could elevate to that level. That is yes, rarest of the rare, Sudurlabha. But there is a possibility. That's what Prabhupada is emphasizing. And then further, 39th verse, 7th chapter, 8th canto. Further, Lord Shiva elaborates, people in general being bewildered by the illusionary energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, yes, Lord only created this illusionary energy because I want to enjoy. I want to exhibit, Bhasanubhas. That is the reason, all this. I don't want to exhibit Dasanudas. So my mood is always, Bhasanubhas. I know better than you. I know. No, keeping I-centered, not a God-centered lifestyle. Are always engaged in animosity toward one another. But devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. So here, even how, uh, even in our parampara, there is a saying, it's called Nityananda Vamsa. So just Nityananda Vamsa means I will try to bring out Nityananda Vamsa means in our ISKCON movement, the one who goes to the any extreme, like some countries, they will not allow any of the other uh, sampradaya or any of the spiritual matter subjects or thought process. So even there, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, he went with some ordinary dresses, removing saffron dresses, and then wearing ordinary pant shirt and this. That means going to that extent to preach the cult of this ISKCON movement and in our whatever the Vedic scriptures from our sampradaya. So that is the example for that. Are always engaged in animosity toward one another, but devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. Even they are taking so much risk, and then they are preaching. In a recent incident, like in Bangladesh, we know that. So the atheistic or animalistic, those who are envious of our movement, they came and they have killed one of our devotee. Then we raise the voice all over the world against all these things. So that is important. And then the purport of the same. This is the characteristics of a Vaishnava. So why we discuss all these? This is to understand, whether that this is a measurement to find who is the elevated, such a devotee like that. And then uh, Paradukha Dukhi. A Vaishnava is always unhappy to see the conditioned souls unhappy. So that is the mood of Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, our Acharyas. Otherwise, he would otherwise he would have no business teaching them how to become happy. In materialistic life, people must certainly engage in activities of animosity. Materialistic life is therefore compared to samsara sagara. So here the point is, uh, the materialistic life, people must certainly engage in activities of animosity. So we are so conditioned that we are into, we have been conditioned to Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jananam by so many, cycle of this birth and death. One got caught up in this cycle of birth and death. So where is the question of coming to this stage of understanding of Paradukka Dukki? So such a Jiva is Sudurlabha. Lord also declared that, but here Lord Shiva is the very prominent devotee, and he brought out this particular subject matter from his own personal pastimes. It's very amazing to know from Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas and our scriptures. And then I'll move to the second division, as I mentioned, from Prabhupada's lecture, that is friendly and sympathetic. What is this friendly and sympathetic? Simply we can understand. These are the qualities of devotee. There are two qualities. One is friendly and another one is sympathetic. So Srila Prabhupada said sympathetic. We should be very much sympathetic. If any one of our fellow men falls sick, we must take care of him, give him help. That means among the devotees, what else we do? Whenever we meet devotees on the weekend, or if somebody is, most importantly, not materially, we have to give some, donations or bringing up into that, not necessarily only that particular, biological help. Here, Prabhupada mentions biological help for the devotee. No, nothing wrong in that. But more importantly, the devotees needs, this Krishna consciousness help. How much we are fallen. So among the devotees, the weekend, we meet devotees. Prabhuji, how are you? Keso, we all ask, that gathering and all these things. Then when someone with, out of true devotion, bringing out some questions, bringing out some, difficulties in spiritual journey, the one, the senior devotees, we would have noticed that they spend too much time and they will tell, they'll give their contact. I will call you or you call me. Uh, in another occasion, they will tell to connect, you come and join. If they are lagging in Seva or something, why can't you join with us? Somebody shifted from one location to another location. Prabhuji, I shifted, from this particular place to another place, what to do for my spiritual journey. Don't worry, Prabhu, you connect through online. We have been doing so many programs. You join, in the weekend where we do the extension centers of our, concept of Bhakti Sadan and Namahata, and then, Bhakti Vriksha, right? So these are the, sympathetic, because the one should elevate from one level to another level. Or in another example also we can take, in some places we would have come across devotees, falling sick. And in our temple, ISKCON Seshadripuram temple is concerned, always, there will be announcements, this particular devotee is falling sick, and please try to pray for the so-and-so devotees. Yes, this is the sympathetic. Okay, so this is only a body, why to worry about the body? No, this is a machine. So the Indra Rudani Maya, so that machine is needed to this soul satisfying activities. So in that way, and then further, Suhurdam Sarva Bhutanam. So if we are Krishna's representative, how I can be enemy of anyone else? And somebody, in administrative role, somebody is taking care in temple, it's not that easy. Though it is in a devotional service, people will, will not feel happy or comfortable in some particular seva, or somebody is, pointing a mistakes, fault finding, all these things will be their part of administrative role. And here, the Srila Sanatana Goswami, how he exhibited by his personal experience. Before getting into this Srila Sanatana Goswami's, example, one of Guru Maharaj, I mean, my Guru Maharaj, message I'd like to share here. In the palace ground, we had a big, gathering last, time, some few years back. That time, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, Guru Maharaj said, this when you associate or how to maintain a relationship with the devotees, we may find 90% negativity with some devotee or somebody, and there is a 10% of qualities, with goodness you would have observed from them. you strongly catch hold of that quality, then automatically our relationship will become, long lasting uh, relationship or everlasting relationship. So that is a take home message from Acharyas and Maharaj. Then we will get into Srila Sanatana Goswami's, real time uh, activity, how he spread this consciousness and how he was with the devotees, how friendly and sympathetic, how loving and caring he was. After staying in one town, after staying in one town, Sanatana Goswami, when Sanatana would go to another town, the people would follow behind him. So he is moving from this village to another village, but people least bother about their everything and they started following Sanatana Goswami to go to other village. Whether a young boy or an old man, whoever it was, all would lose their patience and cry as the Goswami, as the Goswami would leave. Sanatan Goswami himself would shed tears as he solaced them and sent them back to their own homes. Only after they all stopped crying and returned to their houses would Sanatana leave for the next village. See the mood. It's very amazing. I've seen uh, whenever, all our Maharaj over visits Bangalore, I saw these are the things, whether I am in that mood or I'm insignificant here. So I have seen many devotees by seeing Guru Maharaj, they're totally out of this world, started crying, and when Maharaj is when he's going or when he's blessing, when he's having some words with devotees, they are totally out of the world. I have seen this same mood exhibited between in our parampara, our Diksha Gurus, and sometimes with even Siksha Gurus Association like that. As Sanatana approaches the next village, the people would watch him coming from a distance, whether young or old man or woman. Everyone would say, "Hare is Rupa Sanatana." The Vrajavasis displayed wonderful affection. So they all, the next villagers also very eager to receive. How when Guru Maharaj comes, it's a festival day for all of us. So such a jiva, it is very rare to find in this planet, especially in this, Kali Yuga, age of Kali. It is very, very difficult to find, such a people. Still, how much time is there? Hare Krishna. 40, 15 minutes we will discuss on the subject. So whenever Sanatana Goswami, moves to any uh, place, the followers, from the village, how much love they have exhibited, because that is a real understanding or a true meaning of this Paradukka Dukhi. Right? And then Sanatana, out of great affection, inquired from each person about their well-being. He inquired about how many children, daughters and sons they had, whether they were married, where they were married, what were their names, and what was their education. He asked how many cows and bulls one had, how their agriculture was, how much grains they produced, and what was their daily routine. He also asked them how their health was and what was their stage of mind. These are the guna, right, from Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. And then here, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, in his Vilappa Kusumanjali, appreciated Srila Sanatana Goswami as Kripa Bindu. So the Kripa Bindu meaning here he brought out, and ocean of mercy, who was, Paradukha Dukhi, who felt sorrow in the sorrow of others, right? Sorrow of others. So how many of us are qualified for this? It's a $1 million questions. And so he prayed Sanatanas, to take shelter of him. We also pray to take shelter of Srila Sanatana Goswami and to imbibe some of his wonderful qualities, being friendly and sympathetic, loving and caring in Krishna consciousness. So this is a true meaning of Paradukha Dukhi. So how the devotees carried themselves, etc. And now we are moving to another, uh, you know, uh, subject matter in this, relevant to today's topic, like Paradukha Dukhi. How one could understand whether that person is Paradukha Dukhi, or there are 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, right? So good qualities, 26 good qualities of a Vaishnava. So this is from Sri Krishnadasa Kaviraja, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that all good qualities become manifest in the body of Vaishnava, right? So let us check how many qualities manifested in our body. Number one, he is very kind to everyone. Who is very kind to everyone? So what comes and what goes? How Prabhupada, deal with even the hippies, right? Hippies came to Prabhupada, and they don't have any idea about Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. So he himself gives lecture, he himself, cooks, he himself, serves, he himself washes, he himself struggled to establish, 108 temples to give this. He exhibited all this through the mood of Paradukha Dukhi. He is a perfect Vaishnava. And then he does not make anyone is enemy. He does not make anyone his enemy. So even Prabhupada also got so much of criticism from so many countries, and so many uh, difficulties, like what to say, in Russia and all, they have put all the devotees into jail, and but whatever it may be, the tolerance and the acceptance level of Prabhupada and our ISKCON movement is amazing. And then he is truthful. What is this truthful? How to understand? So he does not have any hidden agenda when he goes to America. So he is so truthful. I don't have any hidden agenda. I don't have any uh, hidden purpose to get my name and fame or something. He's so truthful towards spreading the Krishna consciousness and following his guru's instruction. So that is one of the quality of a devotee. And then he is equal to everyone, right? Even Prabhupada mentions he is such an elevated devotee. He put himself, equal to everyone, saying that I may be imperfect, but what I am speaking is perfect. See the quality of Prabhupada. That means, that means he exhibited, I am also an ordinary person. I may have some flaw as this body, as this, mind, and this false ego, everything is there within everyone. He's such a highly elevated soul. He puts himself, what I am speaking is perfect, I may be imperfect. So that exhibits he is equal to everyone. And no one can find any fault in him. No one can find any fault in him. So Prabhupada gives in his lecture, whatever you speak about Krishna consciousness as per the Shastra, it is Pavitram. Even Srimad Bhagavatam is called Amala Purana. Right. So in this, why it is Amala Purana? In Kali Yuga, you can see many debate shows sitting and taking one particular, middle of the paragraph, some particular word, taking and debating, so much waste of time. And that is not the real progress of the spiritual consciousness. Right? My Siksha Guru always says, avoid all these corridor discussions. Right? One come to the mood of Arjuna, that is, surrendering to the Lord. We all know. So the preachers could understand when, whom, and what mood the person is, in front of you. Then, according to place and circumstances, one should respond to such a questions. Anybody is coming with challenging spirit or something. Even we would have seen some senior devotees, used to share these kind of experiences even in temple. Newcomers, they have so much of other way of exhibiting the keeping theirs, they as a center, like that. So there is no point in discussing our individual intellectuals here. We would have find Prabhupada always quotes examples from Shastra, and he never take any credit to that, right? So no one can find any fault in him, because he is giving always the references. He is not telling according to me or according to I. And he is magnanimous. Why he is magnanimous? What he preached, he followed, right? I can share my experience. We all, marched for this anti-tobacco rally. We were holding slogans like no smoking and no tobacco day, like that. We started from one place to another place. In between there is a break period. So in the break, I have seen many people holding this particular board, no smoking and all these things, and they started smoking. It is so astonishing, so how it is. So how could such a people or such a soul could be a magnanimous? How Prabhupada, see what he preached, what he followed, he preached. Once I got so curious, what is the best preaching in this world, like that. Prabhupada banged on my face, what you follow, you preach. Not necessarily you have to be a highly elevated soul. If you're doing one round chanting, you are eligible to preach. You preach the one who is not at all chanting. So like that, no need to wait. So in that way, everyone could be a minute level of magnanimous, and he is mild. So why is mild? You should not be so aggressive, even in spreading this movement. Even in yes, for spiritual it is okay, but in what extent you are? It's like no need to take a sword to cut the butter, right? To cut the butter, a thread is enough, right? That kind of approach here is mild. The way you have to use this slowly overnight. No, I have given a medicine next day, that reaction should be there. Not like that. You should have a mild approach. So that quality one should exhibit. Then that devotee is or that particular jiva is a elevated jiva, and he's always clean. So it's one of the, even in material world, we have been commonly hear that clean means what? At least four regulative principles. I myself having all the anarthas, and right, what I myself not following, but I'm preaching. Right, that is not the real cleanliness. Let us keep ourselves externally as well as internally. Right, we are taking diksha. What is our chanting position? We should ask ourselves, right? Honestly, are we able to, in Kali Yuga, are we able to follow this, chanting process properly? We took a vow voluntarily. There is no force, right? Prabhupada never forced anyone. Prabhupada said, here there is a fruit. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, here I am a gardener. Here I have kept fruits. I cannot, share this fruit to everyone. Please, you go and carry. And so we only carried the fruit, but we are not, loyal to that process. That is the, he's always clean. He's without possessions. Once possessions means once some devotee gave some huge money to Prabhupada. Prabhupada immediately called book distribution team, you take this, and temple construction team, you take this, and some other activities. So you take this place, you divide like that. Then he had given to some GBC, you decide where to go. So he does not have any identity. I am nowhere concerned. So in one interview, somebody was asking, Prabhupada, are you God? Prabhupada said, yes, I am a servant of God. So he don't want to possess anything. And he works for everyone's benefit. Some reporter was asking Prabhupada, Prabhupada, are you working? Right? Prabhupada said, yes, more than you in this age. We know Prabhupada, Lila Mrta, he wakes up, 2 o'clock. He travels all over the world, day and night. So it's amazing, Prabhupada, ki jai. And then everyone's benefit, for not for his benefit, and he's very peaceful. Right? He's not so result oriented or something. He's so peaceful. How the peacefulness? He said, "Oh Lord, I am a puppet in your hand. You make me to dance, I will dance. You make me to sing, I will do." Right? I don't know why you brought me, this most fallen soul, to this most abominable place like Western countries. So that is peaceful. So he's very tension free. Why? Because I'm nothing, I'm insignificant soul, that mood, right? And he's very peaceful. He's always surrendered to Krishna. Same. He has no material desires. So where is the material desire perception, in Prabhupada's life? No, there is no question of material desires. He's very meek. Yes, he don't want any opulent, whatever, storefront. He does not require anything. Always he says, simple living, and I think, and he's steady, right? There are so many problems, so many, Juhu temple, Prabhupada, Lila Mrta, how the temple being constructed, how much sufferings all the senior Vaishnavas does this. And then he controls his senses. Yes. Is there anybody could find, no, Prabhupada could not, maintain, Ekadasi or something. They all are perfect examples, in our parampara. He is not influenced by Lord's illusionary energy. We cannot find, that kind of atmosphere, any of our senior Vaishnavas. He offers respect to everyone. He always goes and, respects everyone. He uses this word, please support to the movement. Please, take care of this activity. He does not desire any respect for himself. So he does not record because one pastime, one devotee, when Prabhupada came to Vrindavan, Prabhupada was staying for some couple of weeks or something. That time, one devotee always, whenever Prabhupada comes, he's standing and shouting, Jai Prabhupada, like that. Prabhupada called the devotee, what is your seva in the temple? Right? I'm happy that, you're glorifying, my name. But at the same time, I will be so happy that if you do some seva, like that. So they will not respect, they offers, respect to everyone, and they will not expect respect, from anybody. And he is very grave. He is very merciful. He is friendly. He is poetic. Right? We know. See, what is this poetic? You make me to dance, I will dance. So all this, uh, the way he put things across is always poetic. He is expert, no doubt about it. Right? When you hear any Prabhupada lecture, every statement and every sentence is mind-boggling. Right? He is like encyclopedia, you can say, and he is silent. So with such a potency, he is very humble and he is very silent. And these are the, the take-home messages from Paradukka Dukhi, today's uh, theme. And I would like to connect simply to the today's purport. Quickly, let me check the time. Plan accordingly. Hare Krishna. 54. So it's time. So quickly, I will tell what and all we have covered and what could be, the take-home messages like that. So initially, we discussed about Lord Shiva is the perfect example as such a elevated soul. So once again, I'd like to read the purport, the translation, then I will connect with a quick summary of what we have discussed. And today's perfect, the translation is, such a perfect devotee offer respect to every living entity because he is under the firm conviction that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has entered the body of every living entity as the super soul or the controller. So how to understand such a elevated soul is the matter here. And then initially we discussed about Lord Shiva, how he is compassionate towards, the poison. And then how Prabhupada lecture, he gave two terms. One is friendly and what is that? Empathetic, right? Sorry, not empathetic, sympathetic. So that means, friendly and sympathetic. So we have seen how Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami moving from village to village like that. And there are 26 qualities of a pure devotee we have discussed. And now these are the three subject matter what we have discussed. And quickly I'm connecting with today's purport. So we should not misunderstand by identifying such a elevated soul, they themselves God. So when Prabhupada being asked this question, are you God? No, I am a servant of God. So that should be the understand. But the foolish people think that every individual, every jiva is a God. Yes, that amsa is there within the jiva, but they are not God. So Guru should not think that I am a, God. And that is then it will become a Mayavada philosophy. Then this, everything will become, Sahajya. Suppose a person enters into room. So Prabhupada gives that example. That does not mean that that room has become that person. No, it is not. So there are 84 lakh species. Paramatma is pervaded everywhere. It doesn't mean that every jiva could become a lord. No, it is not like that. And then in the society, there are Mayavadi philosopher wrongly think that because the Supreme Person has entered the body of a poor man, the Supreme Lord has become Daridra Narayana or Poor Narayana. These are all blasphemous statement of atheistic and non-devotees. So this kind of statements we should be very careful when we associate with the society and when we exhibit or when we go for preaching, all these things. We should not have the wrong perception towards that. Identify such a elevated soul, Paradukha Dukhi, or the qualities like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited, Trinadapi Sunichena, Arorapi Sayushnanam. So be like a tree, be like a grass, tolerance like a tree, and be compassionate or flexible like a grass. So these are the take-home messages from this particular verse. So here I would like to stop. Once again, thanks to all the devotees for joining and patiently hearing, and the temple authorities for giving me this opportunity. Whatever I can repeat as it is, from our acharyas and Prabhupada. Once again, thanks to each and everyone. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If there are any questions or any suggestions, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very
Hare
nice
Krishna.
class. Hare
Thanks for
Krishna.
joining.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat. If there is no more questions, once again, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Somebody in the chat. Hare Krishna. Chetan Kumar Prabhu. Hare Krishna. We'll end the session now. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.